2 mic check. 1 2 mic check. Okay, here we go. So here we go. You know how to unwrap model Blender, right? If you don't, there's a couple of tutorials out there, right? But this is what you need. You need a model with a UV, right? So, and the UV needs to have the texture on it applied here. See it? See it? Now we press File, Export, FBX, right? Don't forget just to check on the mesh and selected object only, right? Give it a name, find a folder, right? Create your own folder where you want to export those FBX files. Export them. Go into 3D code, right? Go into File, Import, Model or per pixel painting. This is where you import your model from Blender into 3D code. But like I said, don't forget to unwrap. Must have UVs or it won't work. This is where you put your texture on, right? But you already know this. I know you know what you're doing, right? So now we go to 3D code, file, import, model, or per pixel painting. It's gonna ask you where did you put it. Gonna go to your folder, test, open, and here we go. Don't touch anything here, and you have to have like only one material applied. For some reason you have more materials, it means in your Blender scene on your model you have more than one materials in here. Get rid of them because you just want to have one material to paint 3D code, right? So press OK. It's gonna import the model. See how easy it is? And here is your. If you don't have this window, you can go to Windows, Panel, and then find it in here somewhere, right? What is it called? Texture Editor. Must be in here somewhere. So I don't know where it is exactly right now, but there you go, right? Now if I pick any color, I give it a base color, is your layer. You already know how to do that. Base color, layer. I pick this tool and I can give it a gradient, right? So gradient means it's gonna have one color lighter, one brighter. With X you can switch for the colors. So now I have two. I give it a one darker one and one brighter one. You can also not use gradient. You can just go in here, press twice, and it's gonna give you the base color. See? I always start dark. Why? Because then you can work from dark to brighter, right? If you start too bright, then you have to go from bright even more brighter, and that's not okay, right? So now you go back into here, and you can keep painting, right? So we can add another layer, paint, just pick a color. I don't care. This is just to show. Oh, in here you're gonna be having this all turned on if you want to paint your normal map and your glossiness. I don't use this. I only use painting and I create my own normal map in another software program, right? So let's add the opacity, right? You can already see painting, right? You know how to do that. And now only thing that I do is I go to texture, export, color, and it's gonna ask me what folder. Usually you're gonna set up the folder that is using Unity. So you export, it's gonna export Unity. This is it. Make test. Boom. You export it. You go in here and you find that texture, right? See how easy it is? Nothing to it. Like I said, if you like to add normals in here whilst you're painting, okay, I'm gonna paint the texture and the normals for the glossiness. You can do that, right? And you have all of these textures that you need in Unity, so it shows your model. Like I said, I turn this off because it paints way better. Because you turn these two on, it's gonna give you sometimes a little bit of a lag, and I don't like that because then I cannot paint freely. So I basically turn those two off, and later I just bake my textures from the albedo that I have painted. Easy, right? That's the better workflow. Believe me, you don't not want to go and mess around with this shit here. This is all when you just using 3D Code, but if you have Blender and 3D Code and you combine them, it's way better. So this is why I never have problems with my stuff crashing or whatever, right? Okay, so I hope this helps, and I would do it this way. I recommend doing it this way. It's gonna give you much better performance on everything. You're not gonna get stressed because it's so simple. You just create your model here in Blender, you unwrap it, you export to the folder that you want to have it, right? You don't forget to add just one material in here for one object. Don't add two. If you add two, it's gonna give you problems in here. It's gonna give you two materials, and you are not gonna be painting on two materials. You're just painting on texture, one material, right? Pretty simple, right? And like I said, you just export texture, export color albedo, and if you want the metalness, roughness, or the normal map, you still decide. Like I do want to turn this on. I want to paint like immediately create my normals. And the same stuff, right? Texture, export, roughness, metalness, normal. You just export to the folder uh, in Unity, right? I usually set up a folder for Unity. So when I export and I paint on my texture and it updates every time, as soon as I go to Unity, it updates automatically everything in Unity for me. So the best way to create the FBX folder where you export your model from Blender, create it on a separate, so don't put it into Unity, or you can put it into Unity, whatever you like. If you want your models from Blender to go immediately to Unity, you can do that. It's a good workflow. I would recommend that. But me personally, I choose another. Let's say if my project in Unity corrupts or crashes, I will not lose any data that I have created for Blender, right? So all my FBX, they will be safe. For some reason, Unity crashes and decides, and I will be only losing my texture, but you are not really losing your texture in 3D Code, because if you save your file in 3D Code, it saves everything, your texture and everything. So if you open the file, you still have the texture, but the model will be lost in Unity, right? But yeah, if you think about it, you also have your model in here imported already, but I never use that because, as you seen, it's kind of unstable, right? Yeah, I hope this helps.